viewers, let me very quickly run you through some names. You must have all heard of MIM MP Imtiaz Jalil, Furfura Chief Toha Siddiqui, a journalist called Muhammad Zubair, and a Congress party backer called Toki Raza. There are at least two common threads that bind these people. They are all either accused of inciting hate or have denigrated the Hindu faith, and most importantly are yet to be arrested. In all probability, they won't be. That's because those state governments entrusted to act against them won't do so. They are too scared of the political fallout. On India Upfront, viewers, I always put my opinion out there, my view out there, without any caveats. In fact, these people that I've just named will be shielded and let off the hook. I'm not exaggerating, as that is exactly what is happening in Jharkhand, where the worst incidents of rioting took place on Friday. Last Friday, viewers, after prayers. In Jharkhand, the Congress JMM ruled state government is in a bind. They can't shake off the responsibility for the Friday violence that left 2 rioters dead, that left several policemen injured, that left property worth crores devastated, temples desecrated. Viewers, they can't shake off the responsibility for all these acts, but their political compulsions are preventing them from naming and shaming rioters who ran amok. Yes, viewers, there's an elaborate attempt at obfuscation, giving clean chits, and even trying to turn facts on their head. Believe it or not, in a state where the police itself has detailed how a mob congregated after Friday prayers and started violent stone pelting and firing, the Chief Minister seems to be in a state of denial. Today, in a shocking attempt at rationalizing violence, viewers, the Chief Minister, Hemant Soren, had one of those ladke hain galti ho jati hai moment. Yes, viewers. He put down the rioting, the arson, the firing, the desecration of temples to gussa and avesh. Listen in.
अजीबोगरीब परिस्थिति से गुजर रहा है। आवेश में, तहस में अक्सर गलतियाँ होती। ये शहर जंग का मैदान नहीं है। कई जगहों से आप सबको, हम सबको कई विचलित करने वाली खबरें भी सुनने को मिलेगा और कई चीज़ें देखने को भी मिलेगा। आज कहीं ना कहीं हर खबर, हर चलचित्र में कुछ न कुछ हिडन एजेंडा छुपा हुआ है।
Hidden agenda, galti, mistakes, innocent mistakes. Well, we confronted the Jharkhand Chief Minister, viewers, on why he's giving cover fire, as it appears quite clearly, to rioters, to alleged rioters, by dismissing them as angry, mistaken, misguided youth. He ducked. He ducked and dodged. He weaved out of our way, and when he couldn't escape us, he hit below the belt. But not once, viewers, did he call the rioters by their name. Watch this.
सर, अभी क्या स्थिति है, क्या कार्रवाई हो रही है हिंसा पर?
क्या बोल रहे हैं? मतलब आप लोग क्या चाहते हैं बुलवाना? आप लोग चाहते क्या हैं? ये पेट्रोल डीजल लेके निकल जाए क्या? क्या चाहते हैं?
सर आपने कहा आवेश में गलतियां हो जाती है, जिसका
मतलब नहीं समझ में आया आपको?
नहीं सर।
तो आप छोड़ दिए पत्रकारिता।
Mr. Soren, sir, you made a statement yesterday. That आवेश में गलतियां हो जाती है. सर हिंसा हुई है और किस तरीके से आप देखते हैं सर गलतियां कितनी हुई है? Mr. Soren, just one statement, sir. Sir, just one statement. Sir, Mr. Soren, one quick comment, sir. Sir, you have made yesterday a statement. सर वायलेंस हुआ है सर रांची में, आपने बोला है कि गलतियां हो जाती हैं सर. सर प्लीज जस्ट वन क्विक कमेंट सर. अरे सर मिस्टर सोरेन.
Our reporter Aishwarya, who has gone and investigated this entire story, was trying to put those questions to him. But you saw viewers completely evasive. Sadly, Hemant Soren wasn't the only one, the Chief Minister not just the only one. Asaduddin Owaisi has remained mummed on writing, but when he has chosen to break his silence, he's condemned the firing by the police, firing that was undertaken only in self-defense. Congress Minister, Jharkhand government, Rameshwar Aron, who smelt a pan-India plot, refusing to believe that these individuals could have been guilty of trying to trigger and incite passions. There seems to be a full-fledged defend rioters exercise underway. Congress MLA from Jharkhand, Irfan Isari, crossed all limits. Not only did he call the rioters shaheed, martyrs, and not only has he demanded compensation for them, but he has branded the police in turn as rioters. Listen to these individuals.
कि बेगुनाह बच्चा है, उसके परिवार को देखिए, कोई आतंकवादी नहीं था वो लोग जो गोली चला दी सीधा. मैं सरकार से मांग करता हूं कि सरकार जो बच्चे की जान गई है उसको शहीद का दर्जा दे. 50 लाख रुपया और एक नौकरी में मांग करता हूं.
झारखंड में आपने 15 लोगों पर गोली चला दी, 2 मुसलमान बच्चों की हत्या कर दी, एक के जिस्म में 6 गोलियां. क्या हो रहा है ये? मैं इसको कंडेम करता हूं. झारखंड में जो फायरिंग हुई है,
पूरे देश में इस तरह घटना घटी, कोई तो है. पूरा देश एक साथ सोचा, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता. एक ब्रांड वे में पूरे देश में चलाया गया, तो हमको सोचना पड़ेगा.
Viewers, if you heard these three individuals, now let me tell you, hours after unmasking the Ranchi rioters, the police have surrendered, viewers. The Hemant Soren government has withdrawn the posters of 30+ riot accused. As I told you this morning, and we suspected this, the Chief Minister himself came out and said that these rioters were misguided youth who had made an honest mistake. Galti is the word that he used, viewers. They want to persecute Nupur for her self-professed galti. But viewers, here they're letting off a whole bunch of rioters that their own police identified as the individuals that were behind the mayhem by withdrawing this poster. Let me go straight across to Aishwarya. Aishwarya, is there pressure on the police in Jharkhand? Why have they done this? What's the reason?
Well, the police officials are saying that they need to make certain amendments on this poster, and therefore they have removed these posters once placing at the Raj Bhavan intersection. And then later, when we asked those people, the workers of the administration, they clearly stated that they have just got the information that they have to remove. But when we specifically went on to ask the DIG on this particular issue, they said that the amendments need to be made. There
now,
are
what are
several
these
more,
amendments? Aishwarya, what are these amendments?
the DIG has clearly stated to us that the names of the accused and certainly the pictures have been wrongly placed in the posters, and therefore they need to amend it. They will again place the posters tomorrow. That's what they are saying, but currently there are no posters which have been placed on the streets of Ranchi.
Aishwarya, how strange is this? Very, very strange. Let's hope that they don't amend the posters and put the photographs of policemen. It could well happen, viewers. It could well happen. They might put Nupur's photo, they might put Jindal's photo, and they might put a large number of policemen's photo. You never know in this country, and especially, viewers, when there are governments that are playing vote bank politics. And I want to open this up without delay. I want to go straight across to our guest. Dr. Ranganathan is there with us, Mohandas Pai, Chairman RN Capitals, Tausif Ahmed, Tehseen Poonawala, and Vivek Srivastava. Dr. Ranganathan, what does this say to you? Friday riot clean chits being doled out. First you have the Chief Minister, then you have the ministers, then you have, I call him nowadays the Buhari of the Muslim community, Mr. Owaisi, coming out and saying the police did an absolute wrong thing. In self-defense, they should not have shot. They should have allowed themselves to be martyred for the larger cause. God alone knows what that cause is, but he almost implied that. What do you think is happening, Doctor?
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. Rahul, what the Jharkhand CM said, virtually apologizing for maintaining law and order, is a slap on the faces of the underpaid, overworked policemen who are our first and last defense against murder and mayhem. There's no two ways about it. Anyone who saw those scenes in Ranchi, Jharkhand, those last gasp efforts of the brave policemen at maintaining law and order, when being overrun by religious fanatics and hooligans out to destroy property and kill innocents, would be ashamed of Soren's flippant apologia. Galti ho gayi, he says. Sorry, Mr. Soren, you should instead apologize to your police forces. Tell me, how else are you supposed to contain a mob blocking roads, baying for your blood, shouting Sar tan se juda, hurling stones at you, charging at you? What else are you supposed to do when all your previous efforts at containing them have proven futile? Is firing live rounds not a prescribed action? Doubtless. Any loss of life is tragic. But look at the circumstances, Rahul. Did you not hear that teary-eyed policeman, the clip you are yourself showing, screaming for extra support? It was either him or the mob. What does one do under such circumstances? But Rahul, in apologizing, is Mr. Soren the exception? Sadly, no. Every government, state or central, does this, has been forced to bend before such bullying and appeasement. But they don't mind shooting 30 Ram Rahim supporters. No, then there is no outrage. Do you recall how Kashmiri Islamists pushed in front so that when they are injured through pellets, their sleeper cells in the media splash those images all across the world, blaming our security forces? Let me now show you a photograph, Rahul. Do you know what this is? This is tens of thousands of people collected at the funeral of the terrorist Burhan Wani. If someone didn't know his antecedents and landed there by chance, he would think that Wani was a saint and had been murdered in cold blood by the security forces. In fact, even when knowing that he was a terrorist, the communists said his killing was extrajudicial. Some politicians called him a martyr. Others called him a youth icon. The then chief minister virtually apologized in her condolence message. And if you think this is a particular breed of politicians belonging to a particular ideology, no. That's not the case. It was the Modi government that freed 9,200 stone pelters, some of who had killed and maimed our own Jawans. God knows how many of them, once freed, went on to pelt stones and killed more of our Jawans again in just 30 seconds. The sad truth is, India has now been given a choice as clear as day. If you do not stand with your last defense, our security forces and our policemen, then I'm afraid you stand alone. And you stand opposite a mob that is glaring at you. And once, after that pregnant pause wherein it has identified and recognized your helplessness, it will charge at you with stones and kill you. You need to make that choice before it is too late. All of us need to, Rahul.
Okay, viewers, why is this such a travesty unfolding before our eyes, where the police seems to have completely lost its resolve and withdrawn the posters? Maybe next they'll withdraw the FIRs. The SIT that had been constituted had filed some cases, had identified these rioters, and was seeming to stand up for what is right. And why were they doing it, viewers? Because they know the truth on the ground, and this is the truth. Play out this clip. You must have heard it yesterday also, but I want to re-emphasize, replay this, so some of these individuals who are going to speak up in defense of the Jharkhand government can at least feel a little bit of guilt. Let's play this out.
देखिए देखिए पत्थर चला रहा देखिए देखिए आप इधर आ जाइए इधर आ जाइए छिप जाइए इधर आ जाइए सर पत्थर चल रहा है सर हमको कवर में लगा मेरा मोबाइल टूट गया सर जल्दी से सर देखिए अभी पत्थर चला रहा था सर फोर्स भेज दीजिए सर फोर्स भेज दीजिए देखिए देखिए पत्थर चला रहा देखिए देखिए आप इधर आ जाइए छिप जाइए इधर आ जाइए सर पत्थर चल रहा है सर हमको कवर में लगा मेरा मोबाइल टूट गया सर जल्दी से सर देखिए अभी पत्थर चला रहा है
पत्थर चल रहे हैं whimpering police. It's absolutely shocking at one level and pitiable at the other, because I'm sure that some of them had been given orders to stand down. I have no way of proving it, but I can't for the life of me understand why the police would not have been firing back. Now, viewers, I have a couple of questions to ask, and I'm going to begin with the TMC sympathizer, Tausif Ahmed, who hails from Bengal. There is the Congress sympathizer, Tehseen Poonawala, who hails, of course, from Maharashtra. And I'm pointing out some of these states deliberately. And Vivek Srivastava, who is a left CPI leader, who hails from New Delhi but has sympathies with Pyongyang. But let me first begin with Tausif Ahmed. Mr. Ahmed, this is very important. See, I can ask you two questions. The first question is, in your state of Bengal, there is a young girl, she's a minor. Her name is Ashwani. She's been locked up, and I have some photographs of her which I will pull out in just a few seconds. Ashwani locked up, viewers, and you have the head of the Furfura Sharif, or somebody who pretends to be or is approximate to the head. Now, viewers, this individual is free, even though this individual said some despicable things, mocked the Hindu faith, tried to incite violence. It's all on record. I can play out that soundbite for you in just a few moments. And this young girl actually tried to stop the violence, and called for the deportation, being a young girl, deportation of the rioters. And she's in jail. And the Bengal government issues a notice yesterday late night saying that TV debates that focus on stories such as these, their anchors, their channels will be prosecuted under some sections of the INB Act or whatever it is. So, Tausif Ahmed, let me ask you a very basic question. For a moment, let's excuse the Furfura Sharif's galti, innocent mistake. Why would he, after all, abuse the Hindu community, etc.? Fair enough. But, sir, what about this young girl's innocent mistake, this galti of Ashwani? Excuse that. No, she's in jail. Her house has been ransacked and vandalized, and I have the pictures. Our reporter was there today. Viewers, it's a shocking state of affairs. Tausif Ahmed, how do you justify this?
Rahul, you are reporting.
I can't hear you.
That's not my fault. Please ask your technical team to see. Am I audible to you now?
Yes, better. Yes, go ahead.
So,
may I speak on Jharkhand?
Okay. I think we've lost him. We've lost him. We'll try to get back. Tehseen Poonawala, let me ask you. Jharkhand government, innocent mistake these people have made. They are not rioters. इनसे तो गलती हो गई. Nupur Sharma से भी तो गलती हो गई. She's admitted to the galti, she says. उनको भी माफ कर दीजिए. Show the same generosity of spirit. Heal the wounds. Tehseen Poonawala.
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening to all my fellow. Thank you for having me on the show, and good evening to all your viewers. I share the same sentiment as Dr. Anand Ranganathan, my esteemed colleague on this panel, who said that he's very disappointed with the Jharkhand CM. But I am disappointed for reasons which are completely opposite from Dr. Ranganathan. I am aghast, agitated, irritated that these posters were allowed to be put up in an administration which has the JMM and the Congress, because the Congress rightly so opposed this in Uttar Pradesh. This is a complete violation of right to life under Article 21, right to privacy, and it is absolutely bizarre when the Uttar Pradesh High Court, when the Allahabad High Court came down extremely heavily on Adityanath ji, and so did the Supreme Court for putting up these same posters, and it's a Congress JMM government that's done it. So I've spoken to Irfan, I'm going to follow up with him. These posters have to go. Second, I'm aghast at the Jharkhand administration. Okay, there was riots. Nobody can accept that. Stone pelting, no one can accept that. It was wrong. But he's firing at children below 18 years on the chest, on the head. 2 children have died. They're below 18. They've been shot on the head. If you have to fire in the air, put tear gas, use water cannons. If you have to fire on the leg, you're firing at people on the chest and on the head.
They were being shot at. The police has told us they were being shot at. And I have the soundbite of the police. The policemen are injured.
And therefore, I want that pending an inquiry, the police official in charge of Ranchi be sent on leave. And
who is in charge of law and order?
The CM. And it is,
the CM. Should the CM not quit? Should your Congress party not be withdrawing support from the Chief Minister? After all, Mr. Owaisi has said that the police were rioting. If that is the case, sir, then your police, which comes under the Chief Minister, Mr. Soren, was leading a state-sponsored Islamophobic attack on these poor innocents.
I heard your question and I'll respond to that. I don't think they were innocent. I think the mob did go out of control. I won't deny and I won't lie.
No, so if you're saying that the police shot at people in their chest, etc., should the Chief Minister not step down? I'm asking you this question.
I feel that the in charge of Ranchi police, the SP, SSP,
no, why the SP?
Should be sent on
why
leave,
the SP? When there were riots in Delhi, and the police, in some cases, acted in a high-handed manner, you asked for Amit Shah's resignation. Why are you stopping short of asking for Soren's resignation? Say Soren should step down and the Congress party should withdraw support. Withdraw support.
Let Amit Shah step down, then we'll see.
No, why? Why make it? No. You set the example, then you can build the moral pressure.
Because he's a tribal chief minister.
Right. Viewers, let me go straight across to Dr. Ranganathan. He's holding up his hand. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Very briefly, Rahul, this is not the first time you have caught my good friend, very dear friend Tehseen's hypocrisy. He asked for, I remember I was in the same debate, he asked for Mr. Amit Shah's resignation. But today, he is not demanding Mr. Soren's resignation. But I want 3 points, Tehseen, I didn't interrupt you. If you
Sorry, but I still do.
In fact, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take your...
There are different cases.
Different cases.
Now, let's not be flippant, shall we? Tehseen, I'm going to answer you because you took my name. Sure. 3 points. Number 1, Rahul, Tehseen has agreed with you that the rioters were not innocent. Point number 1. Point number 2, I am not a policeman. Tehseen is not a policeman. None of us are. The policemen on the ground, you have shown the clips. They were frantic. They were crying. They were asking for support. They were going to be run over and murdered and killed. In that situation, I want to ask a simple question to Tehseen. Isn't firing live rounds in the police manual or not? And number 3, where was Tehseen?
No.
He was actually applauding the police action when Baba Ram Rahim supporters, 32 of them, were mercilessly and ruthlessly killed by live bullets. He did not ask for the Chief Minister Khattar's resignation that day. I remember he was on television. So Tehseen, the fact of the matter is that this was either you are with the mobsters or you are with the police. We all have to choose now. That state has reached.
I'm going to answer that very specifically. I was on Times Now from Bihar when that incident in Haryana happened, and I even then said, and I repeat, you cannot shoot above the waist. You cannot do it in
So ask your Chief Minister, tell Rahul Gandhi whose heart bleeds. No, tell Rahul Gandhi whose heart bleeds for the common man, Aam Aadmi, and who hates fascism to go and withdraw support from the Jharkhand government. And you're right, Vivek Srivastava, these are two different cases. In one case, Hindus were being abused, their places of worship were being desecrated in a Congress JMM ruled state like Jharkhand. And in the other, the riot was happening in a BJP ruled state. So you will make political capital out of the BJP ruled state, the riots there. And here you will try to brush it under the carpet as something that happened because there was an innocent mistake.
Not at all.
Right, Vivek Srivastava?
Not at all. No, this was not an innocent mistake. Okay. I stand with the statement of Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Chief Minister.
Of course you do.
And Mr. Anand Ranganathan, I would like to tell you that what exactly do you want to do with the nation? Do you want the minorities and do you want the people,
Vivek, 1 second. Now, look,
the Muslims who stood up in this case and nationally? Let me ask.
That's all
I'm asking you a question.
I'm sorry. Vivek, please let me clarify. 5 seconds.
Sure.
Vivek,
I'm asking you a very simple question.
5 seconds. You were very kind. You were very kind not to interrupt me.
Yes.
I am not going to interrupt you, but because you've taken my name, please allow me, after you are done, my good friend, please allow me, comrade, to rebut you. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. That is Rahul's job. I won't say anything, but Rahul will give you enough time. Now listen to me very carefully. Dr. Ranganathan, my only point is that this nation needs to stand united. We are a diverse country, but we need to be united. Problems do arise. We had Khalistani problem, we had the Ulfa problem, and this latest national unrest that took place, it was a national unrest. There were problems in Jama Masjid, there was problem in Ranchi, there was problem in Kanpur, there were problems in other places. And some places, even where there was no problem, there was a psychological problem with the minorities. And you cannot just brush it away. You cannot just take it as a simple law and order situation and say, rioting hui hai, pakad karke andar dalo, dande chalao, bulldoze. This is not the way. You need to go into the depth of the problem as to what actually started the unrest. This is not a law and order situation like Ram Rahim. This is not a group of people standing to protect some godman who was corrupt.
Look at these
Here,
hypocrites.
The problem is something very different.
Look at these hypocrites in Kashmir when the Kashmiri Hindus are targeted. Now look at these hypocrites.
Injustice was done to them.
1 second. Vivek Srivastava, 1 second. Look at how hypocritical you are. Look at how hypocritical you are.
Yes.
You see, there were some psychological problems with the minority community, he says, in Jharkhand. Now, wait, viewers. In Kashmir, where the Hindus are in a minority in the valley and they are killed, these same Johnnies, whose resignation do they ask for? Amit Shah and the Lieutenant Governor. And they're justified. But when it comes to Jharkhand, minorities had a psychological problem.
The two things are very different.
And therefore the police,
the two things are
nothing is very same.
It is not only
it's very same. The siege mentality is the very same. The psychological problem is very same. Except, sir, the problem is different in your mind because you have double standards and you have and you have the guts to talk about India should stand united when there are people like you who deliver justice or the call for justice selectively and create. No, 1 second. Bad blood between communities. You are the first one who should be going to jail.
This was
Dr. Ranganathan wants to respond.
And it had reasons, sir.
Yeah, sure. Reasons.
Yes. Now, thank you very much, Vivek. I'm sure you're going to be gentlemanly, comrade, and not interject me or interrupt me because I waited for you to finish and you took my name. So let me please rebut you. Thank you, Rahul. I am absolutely shocked and flabbergasted that my good comrade Vivek is saying that Baba Ram Rahim and firing on 30 of his supporters and killing them was a law and order problem. But India burning 3 days ago, 30 states and cities virtually lit up, Ranchi, and dire straits. He is saying, his words I'm quoting, he's saying was not a law and order problem. But I don't blame Vivek. Because Vivek's party is the same party on record, and even Shashi Tharoor has mentioned this. So Tehseen would back me up. Has said that CPIM was the only party in the world that publicly hailed his words and Communist Manifesto's word, hailed the Tiananmen massacre in which 10,054 innocents were murdered alive. They hailed it. Number two, when
no, you are diverting.
You have same Vivek 2 days ago, Rahul, on your show saying that it depends on the condition, the context of using Gustakhe Rasool ki ek hi saza, sar tan se juda, sar tan se, it depends. He doesn't wholeheartedly condemn it.
Yeah, and
same guy.
And he's
now,
continued.
This is unfair.
Dr. Ranganathan, he's continued down the same track. He's not backing off. You know what he says? The Muslims had a reason. 1 minute. Vivek, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what you said. Muslims had a reason.
Yeah.
Had a reason.
Yeah.
He's saying the two situations are different. Muslims had a reason. Reason presumably to do what? To riot viewers. You're seeing it. Tehseen Poonawala acknowledges that rioters have taken place.
I'm not justifying rioting.
Of course you are. You're saying they have a reason. By the same token, Gyanvapi Hindus also have a reason. Should they also riot?
Cuts off
Should they also riot?
From our mainstream.
Well, Gyanvapi Hindus also have a reason. Should they also start rioting? Kashmiri Hindus have a reason. Should they start rioting? The Sikhs who were denied justice in 84, should they also start rioting? Mohandas Pai? What kind of nonsense is being played out here?
On the national TV.
And look at the chicanery. Look at the chicanery.
BJP not control them?
Look at the chicanery here.
Rahul, this kind of hypocrisy and nonsense is what communal politics these people are playing. This issue is not about people protesting. This issue is about people indulging in violence. Violence is unacceptable, and this gentleman is justifying violence. He's justifying violence. He's saying they were okay to be violent, okay to be rioted. Oh, they are minorities that cause for it. Nothing can allow rioting or violence by anybody under any circumstance. Violence is unacceptable in any civilized society. And if the gentleman thinks he's living in a civilized society or he's civilized,
absolutely,
how can he ever justify violence? This question is about violence, not about protest. You can protest your heart's content.
Vivek Srivastava, watch out.
But no violence.
Watch out. There might be a case against you for promoting violence. Be careful. These are very tricky times. You might be the next.
I'm not promoting violence at all.
Of course you are. You're saying there's a reason. You have to go into the reasons. Well, tomorrow you say that Burhan Wani had a reason to pick up the gun and take on the Indian state. You've said this about Naxals. You've said this about Maoists.
They did.
Where are you? They have. They have.
The CPIM spokesperson.
Yes.
CPIM spokesperson said Burhan Wani's killing was extrajudicial.
There you go.
That tweet is still there.
There you go.
CPIM spokesperson.
This is the mentality, viewers. Break India forces have a reason to break India. Break India forces have a reason to break India, and I'm going to bring in Tausif Ahmed, TMC sympathizer and political analyst Tausif Ahmed. I want to ask you, what political compulsions is holding back the government you support in Bengal from arresting a cleric who has gone on record, whose bite we can play out for you right now, venting his hateful spleen at the Hindu community and jailing a minor for asking rioters to stop? What is this compulsion? Can you illuminate us?
Now, Rahul, I've heard your debate, even the earlier when we tried to answer your question. Your questions are all very selective and very biased. Now, if you're talking about this one individual head of Gurdwara Sharif, if he has made comments demeaning or which is insulting any Hindu god, then yes, he is responsible. Police action must be taken against him. I am totally with you on that. Now, I heard you talking about police action in Ranchi, then police action in Uttar Pradesh against the protesters. You see, revenge is not justice.
Revenge.
Especially if police, especially if government agents start taking revenge.
Revenge.
Tyranny. What we saw, police is supposed to control the crowd, not instigate the crowd. Police is supposed to prevent violence.
Right.
Not to create a situation where they have to retaliate with violence.
Okay.
What we are seeing today is that someone who is accused of indulging in violence in a protest, his wife's house is demolished.
Right.
That's revenge. That's not law. That's not justice. That's revenge. That's tyranny. You don't seem to talk about, you don't want to talk about that. Why do you not want to talk about that? Judges, senior lawyers, they all have come out in open. Local advocates.
Tausif Ahmed, let me cut you short and say that no one on this panel, let alone me or Dr. Ranganathan or Mr. Pai, will support any bulldozer that goes in without doing due process and knock down people's home. I am asking you now a simple question.
Not allowing me to. No,
let me finish, because you're making all sorts of assumptions. I'm correcting your assumption and nipping it in the bud. No one here stands up
but I will nip it
instant
in the bud.
justice.
Who are you to nip it in the bud?
I am nipping it because you're spreading a rumor which is a crime.
I will nip it.
Which is a crime and which is defamatory and which can invite from Mr. Mohandas Pai or Dr. Ranganathan a criminal suit. Though Dr. Ranganathan is a free speech absolutist, but he will never do anything, but maybe Mr. Pai will, because you're assuming things on our behalf which you should not be assuming. Nonetheless, viewers, let me tell you.
Not assuming.
Let me tell you, when a person says...
Let me tell you. See, Rahul, if you don't allow me to speak, there's no
Finish your point. I don't know what point you're making. You're assuming things, putting words in my mouth.
Okay, you are defending, right now, you are defending demolition drive of Uttar Pradesh.
I'm not. I'm not. Tausif Ahmed, is this your McAdams moment? Can't you hear what I'm saying? It's not. I'm not defending.
What happened to the principles of...
ये तो सुन भी नहीं सकते ठीक तरह से without prejudice. ये act क्या करेंगे without prejudice? They can't hear without prejudice.
You cannot give...
I am saying to you that we do not defend bulldozer action.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
I'm saying it on national TV on a public platform. What more? How am I going to lie?
You are taking a U-turn. Right now you are taking
what U-turn? I have said that without any due process, no bulldozer should run.
Rahul,
this is ridiculous. Oh my God.
Can I make a point? Can I make a point? Can I make a legal point?
Please condemn with me. You please condemn. Join me. Repeat.
I am saying I condemn any bulldozer action without due process. What is wrong with you? आप believe नहीं कर रहे हैं क्या?
Demolition of this house.
Arey bhai, I'm telling you, if it is without due process, it is not acceptable. I'm telling you, whichever house. Arey, whichever house. I'm telling you, Mr. Tausif Ahmed, listen, you have lost your complete leg to stand on. You were thinking of trying to create some sort of a binary. It hasn't worked. I'm telling you, sir, you're in the absolute wrong. You're in the isolation of one, and that's the big problem, Tausif Ahmed. You have no clue what to say. Your government, the government you support is locking up a minor girl for stopping riots. That's where it has gone. And you think you're going to muzzle the press by publishing all sorts of notifications at midnight to try and intimidate the press? It's not going to work. The truth has many ways of coming out. Nonetheless, viewers, I need to move on to another big debate tonight. Let me tell you, viewers, as a news channel, and let's keep the visuals of the previous debate on. As a news channel, viewers, let me tell you very, very clearly, Times Now has always stood against religious violence, intolerance, whether it is from the Hindu side or the Muslim side or the Sikh side or any religion in this country. We have a long-running campaign called India Against Hate, which we fall back upon to call out any sort of hate. Point one. Point two, it doesn't matter whether it's the BJP or the Congress. Number three, Times Now will not keep quiet if governments look to give clean chits to rioters because they are bound by political compulsions. We will call them out, whether it is north, south, east, west, anyone's government. It doesn't matter. Surrendering to mob justice is to surrender the integrity, the sovereignty of the country, and that is not acceptable.